What's up? What's up? Who's that? Yo, pick up the phone. What's up? What's up? Yo, Duque, pick up the phone.
Yo.
What's up?
Hello everybody and welcome back to Reef's Yard. Today we have episode 3 where we will be covering the boys. I'm joined by my good friend Nathan today. So Nathan, how are you doing?
Good, pretty good.
Okay.
I'm excited.
So I think what we should start with is where we left off at season 4. So where we ended, we have Butcher now permanently on Compound V, not temporary anymore. He's not dying anymore, but now he's got some pretty freaky tentacles
Inside him.
and he rips Newman in half.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think's going to become of Butcher for next season?
Well, I definitely think he's going to go out on his own.
Yeah.
I think he's leaving Huey and Starlight and all. I think he's went AWOL.
Mm-hmm.
And just Huey and Starlight and all is annoyed at him anyway.
And captured.
Yeah. Well, that's also true. They all got captured as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, except for Starlight.
Yeah.
Starlight,
she flew off. We've never seen her that strong before as well. So the way she flew off.
Yeah, that's the emergence of her powers after all of season 4. Her basically not even being able to use them at all.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's able to fly and stuff, which will give Homelander maybe a little bit of a run for his money. But probably not going to be enough. So we are going to need Butcher with his tentacles to come in and.
Or maybe even Soldier Boy.
Hopefully Soldier Boy. Well,
it depends what side he's on.
Let's talk about Soldier Boy then. Obviously in season 3 he was just amazing in season 3, and then he took a seat out in season 4 because he was in cryosleep. So I think that he's probably going to start the season at least on Homelander's side.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
He'll probably want to get back at Butcher for betraying him like that. There's also a thing that people are thinking that, so Kate from Gen V, which she was the one that captured Frenchie in the end, she can mind control people, and she can do it on Supes, so people think that maybe he's just going to get mind controlled, and that's why he's working for Homelander, and then eventually he's going to break free of it and be like, yeah, I don't appreciate that, and then, start throwing hands again. But Soldier Boy is going to be really interesting next season.
I don't know if he'll be in Homelander's side. It's hard to say. It's hard. Maybe he could be on his own too.
He could be on his own.
He could be on his own, just doing his own thing.
Yeah, he could be a separate issue to deal with during season 5 that's not really related to Homelander. But no matter what side he's on, he's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna be really, really good next season. Like
powerful, strong, dangerous, all that.
Let's go back to the start of the season. Adrian, we kind of get the beginning of his redemption arc when he kills Mother's Milk's ex-wife's new husband or boyfriend or whatever. And then also we get the introduction of the new Black Noir, who is probably one of the best additions to that season. He's actually hilarious. Like, but Adrian, I never liked Adrian. But I actually think
he's in terms of character, he's a good character.
He's always got interesting stuff going on, but I never liked him as a character in terms of, like, obviously he was a piece of shit.
And also in terms of that, going really fast isn't that cool to be on?
Well,
it's cool enough.
For me, that's like
it's okay. It's not, but like then you look at Homelander with laser eyes.
That's not the power I'd choose in the boys. I'd choose
laser eyes or super strength.
Laser eyes would definitely be one of them.
Or even Starlights. That's pretty cool too. But
yeah. So he kind of starts to help them, and Sister Sage, she's got this whole plan for Homelander to be killing the president and getting himself into power now that he runs Vought on his own because he's thrown everyone else out. So he was a part of her plan to be leaking all this stuff because she wanted him to be going out and saying this. But aside from that, he actually does save their asses a good few times, and one scene that really worked for me was the one where Mother's Milk, they're at that party and he kind of like has a heart attack or whatever that was, and then he runs him to the ER and there's just that like one kid, and he was like, that meant more than all of the rich, you know, the fame and the popularity and the screaming fans and all. I think that works for his character, especially since he's got that whole thing with his brother and his nephews where they're kind of not really wanting to talk to him because of the stuff he's done, and obviously his brother's disabled now. But what did you think of that when you first seen it?
It was sort of, I feel like A-Train was just trying to please Homelander the whole time, and he was obviously scared, like the rest of them of Homelander. But he and of course, what you said as well, he was a bit of a he ruined the pile of plans.
Junkie as well.
Yeah, but he was he cheated. Did he not? Remember what season was that? Season 1, where he did the race. He raced.
Yeah.
Sure,
He buffed himself up with Compound V.
He was cheating and all that, and then obviously that caused near death. He had to get the heart changed.
Yeah.
Whose heart
that was Blue Hawk's.
Yeah, he got Blue. He was saved. He basically died on the road.
Yeah. That death scene too was brutal. Where he just ran and dragged him across the road the whole time.
Turned him into absolute
mush. And that was also during Hero Gasm, which is probably the best episode in the show. Like that was just crazy.
Everyone knows that episode.
Okay, this is a bigger one for me than it is for you, but I think overall another great addition to the season was Joe Kessler, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, as Butcher's like dark half talking to him. I thought that was incredibly.
I seen that coming though.
Yeah, I thought that was incredibly obvious from the start that he wasn't real.
Yeah. Because he doesn't speak to anyone else. You don't see him.
Even though I knew that, I still love the reveal where he ends up talking to Becca because Butcher's saying Becca too, and like it's basically just he's got an angel on his shoulder and a devil on his shoulder, and they're kind of trying to tell him which version of himself he should be. I think he works really well as that side of Butcher, and obviously we see at the end he ends up leaning into that, which is, I mean, to me it looks like he just goes back to like season 1 Butcher where he doesn't give a he'll do anything to get back at Homelander.
There's someone that's saying as well where like the tentacles inside.
Yeah.
Remember in the hospital scene when he was like really badly ill, and then Ryan threw
Mallory.
Mallory up against the wall. Sure, everyone was saying, is that not Joe inside him? Like the tentacles as Joe.
Yeah, I think what it is that black mass in his head has kind of just taken life of its own, and it's kind of talking.
It's not Butcher anymore, like.
And in terms of just performance, I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan does amazing. Like he has a lot of charisma, and I love the scene where he actually reveals it and he's like, don't you worry, Billy, my boy, Daddy's home. Like that's always, it's always great to have him in it. But Butcher's whole arc this season was after that is so.
It was cool
though. Obviously it comes at a price because it's the boys. So the price was literally his life. He has black mass in his head. He's not going to survive much longer. And then at the start, Homelander's like, I'm going to miss you, like, because you're not going to be surviving more than 6 months.
No, you could potentially kill Homelander.
And you see the boys. This is the first time we've seen this in the show, but the boys are kind of stopping him from coming along with them. They're like, no, you're too sick. You basically can't help us anymore. Like, and he's still trying to, fix things with Ryan from last season, which Ryan is another big one we'll get into.
Another character I do not
like. I do not like him either.
I just like that character.
I see his purpose in the story, but in the comics he doesn't exist at all. So there is a version of that story where he's not there at all.
Same for Becca's whole character as well. I feel like they could have done a lot more with that. I feel like what they did was...
Yeah, Becca was kind of wasted.
The whole lead up to Butcher finding her and all that, and then those like...
She's alive for 4 episodes and then she gets later.
Yeah, I don't really understand that. The whole lead up to finding her and all, and then all of a sudden dead.
Yeah. Newman this season is a big one too. Newman, she's a big one this season. she kind of last season I didn't really get a lot. Like I don't get a lot of like really evil vibes from her. It's not like she is bad, but like I don't. It's not like Homelander where it's very clear he doesn't give a about anyone. She's protecting her daughter. And her dad is Stan Edgar, which I didn't even see that coming when that was revealed. But interesting enough, and she betrays him because Homelander threatens her daughter. Newman starts this season with doing something insane, which is injecting her own daughter with Compound V, which it looks disgusting. Mm-hmm. Her powers like that, the whole mutating skin stuff, that looks rough. Yeah. And then she's kind of trying to work with Homelander to take down the president, and obviously we have the boys on the other side of that. I like her story this season. I also really liked her ending though. I don't think you could have gone into season 5 with her still being a threat, because her powers they're not to be fucked with. Like she could be miles away and
pop
she
your head,
just blow your head up.
It was cool. It was cool though, seeing everyone's head pop, and you're like, oh, who the hell is this? Yeah. Not having a clue. Who did I think it was? I had a suspicion.
I can't remember who you thought it was.
It was Edgar, I think. I thought.
Yeah, you were close. You were
I had a suspicion because you see, obviously, I thought Newman was nice.
Yeah, you were in the ballpark, but yeah, Newman, she is a manipulator. She plays more on people than she does just by raw power.
She played Huey as well. Sure, Huey. Yeah. Brought him into that sort of trap of we're trying to bring down Vought. Wasn't that her whole thing?
Yeah. Another big one is Frenchie and Kimiko. As much as I love both of those characters, I think they up so bad this season with them two. I don't know what they were thinking.
I agree. Yeah.
It kind of just seems like the way they wrote it was they got to a certain amount of episodes, like maybe 6 or 7, before they realized, you know what, we have nothing to do with Frenchie's new boyfriend anymore, so we're gonna have to make them.
Oh, I did not like that at all.
Yeah.
I don't understand where that was significant in the storyline whatsoever.
I think the funny thing is that if they had just gone with that from the get-go, I actually think that would have been really good with them two this season. I think they're a great couple, Kimiko and Frenchie.
The delay on it, I don't understand why.
Yeah, I don't get that either. Where and the way they do it is also awful as well. Where Kimiko just turns around and like one throwaway line and goes, "Yeah, we're not going to be together ever, so leave me alone," pretty much.
Yeah.
But then Frenchie goes on this whole, remorseful arc where he starts to feel bad, which, to be fair, he did do a lot of awful things, which is included by him killing his new boyfriend's family before he got with him. And then Frenchie kind of gets sidelined for, I think it's 1 or 2 episodes, where he just kind of goes off to prison and he turns himself in, and Kimiko's upset about it. And then we actually do get them getting together, which is what I wanted from the start of the season.
The delay on it was so unnecessary.
It was a very...
I don't understand.
I just feel like they're running around in circles for no reason with that. But we do get a lot of development near the end. Like, obviously, we knew they were going to get together eventually. Even if they told us they're not, we knew they were going to get together.
See, that boyfriend thing was so unexpected though.
Yeah, like, I wasn't expecting that either.
I was expecting any episode now, Kimiko and Frenchie's going to get together or do something together, and then all of a sudden, boyfriend.
Let's talk about where they leave off. Frenchie is mind controlled, so he's basically willingly going to prison.
Yeah.
Kimiko can speak now, which is great.
And strange.
It is weird. It's weird seeing her speak because
I'm just so used to her not speaking.
It's been 4 seasons of her just mute.
Yeah.
And now she can actually.
She was cool like that. Yeah. That's Kimiko. I sort of like that.
Yeah. No, I like where they ended them two off. I just hope that they don't do any of this more messing around, and be like, oh, they're not together again.
Yeah, beating around the bush. Like, the last season, you really need to stamp it.
Especially for the last season, because this season needs to be bigger. Well, obviously they do it every season, but it needs to be bigger, badder, more bloody, more chaos. They're not going to have a lot of time to explain a story like that. The soup virus, that's the big one. That's our big season 5 chunk that we're going to be having. Butcher with the powers and the soup virus is very dangerous. Mm-hmm. Starlight could go as well next season. Kimiko could go next season too, because I don't think... Well, we already know he doesn't really like Kimiko a lot at all. Yeah. Starlight, he's a bit more warm on, only because of Hughie.
Yeah, only because of Hughie.
I reckon now, after we seen the way that Newman died, and Hughie was like trying to talk him down, and then he just kind of pushed him aside and just ripped Newman in half,
But
which
although
was sick as fuck, by the way.
I think she needed to die also.
Yeah, she definitely did need to go.
She needed to die, definitely.
The suit virus is interesting because to be powerful enough to kill Homelander, which is obviously the big goal, it needs to be powerful enough to be airborne. And if it goes airborne, we could be seeing the show end with no soups, and either they're all dead or, you know, there's always the other way to lose.
What was that? What was that ending from the comics, where all the ships were flying around?
The ending from
what building was that?
I hope and pray that is in the show, because seeing Butcher walk towards a full White House of soups,
Yeah,
that would be amazing. But in the comics, it ended up being Black Noir was like a clone of Homelander, and he was the one that got Becca pregnant and had the son. But I think she loses it in the comics. I think that's the difference, and that's why we don't have Ryan, which we still yet to talk about. But actually, I think it's best we don't talk about Ryan.
Yeah, that's
simply put. I think Ryan's really annoying. I don't think he's necessary for he is. And all the switching sides is getting a bit sickening too.
Yeah.
Like he starts off and he's on Butcher's side, then he's on Homelander's side, and then he's on Butcher's side, then he's on Homelander's side. It's just kind of like...
And he's not cool.
And the one thing I don't get as well is, how do you not see that this man is clearly not a good person at all? Like, Homelander is... Like, Butcher isn't either, but Homelander is literally murdering people in front of him, and he's just, like, okay with that. He also has a big potential going forward, because he could end up being like Homelander again, and we could get more seasons of the show. I doubt it, but
I don't think so. I think 5 definitely ends it. Or so we know about the Soldier Boy spin-off anyway,
Soldier Boy spin-off as well,
which is exciting.
Right. Okay, everyone, and that is all the time we have today for episode 3 of Reef's Yard, where we talked about the boys. I have my good friend Nathan here today joining me and talking about the boys, and it was a pretty fun conversation, and we can't wait to see where it goes in season 5. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time on Reef's Yard.